So, hello everyone, and welcome to the 8th Chakra Company's Ascension Healing, Taking Care of You program. We are so excited to have you here. Lily and I absolutely love doing these kinds of programs, and we were just chatting for a moment before we got started and said that this is our absolute favorite thing to do, to bring more awareness and bring more understanding to different conversations that are going on. That is part of our purpose, our mission, one of the reasons why we created the 8th Chakra Company. We talk all the time about mastering what it is to be human, because from our perspective, we already know how to do that spiritual thing. The spiritual side is really easy. We can manifest like crazy when we are in a non-physical form. It's when we get here in a body that we're kind of like, oh, what are we doing? And how does this work? And why is it when I think something, it doesn't immediately appear? And what is this issue I'm having with my relationship, or struggle with creating the job that I want or the house that I want? And so we love to have these kinds of conversations and bring more awareness and understanding to them, so we all have a little bit more knowledge and knowing it. We love to talk about knowing your own information. So we're excited to have you here tonight. This program, Ascension and Healing, is going to be an incredible opportunity for you to get more understanding around what ascension is, and to actually heal some of the things that may be going on with you, and for you to start to know that there are alternatives to whatever you've been experiencing around the word ascension. So one of the things that makes us very different is that we are, you know what? I don't want to do that. I actually want, Lily, can you just introduce yourself for a moment? Because I'm like, oh, I could sit here and talk about this and this and this, but can you just introduce yourself? Because you're my absolute favorite person.
Wow. So Bonnie and I have been working together for like 3 years now. And my favorite thing to do, and I come from a corporate background, so I've gone from being very left brain to now being a very right brain person. And sometimes I have a really difficult time going back into the left brain world, but corporate world really like took me in its arms and enveloped itself around me for 25 plus years in the finance world and in a very, very technical arena. And now working with my right brain and really working with my heart and the emotions and the feelings and the energy, focusing on energy is what I love to do. So I'm an alchemist like Bonnie. I am a theta healing practitioner, and I'm also an expert Akashic Records reader like Bonnie. And so that's me.
Yay. And she is an absolute amazing healer. She is one of my go-to people, and I'm fortunate because I can be sitting across the table from her having lunch and say, oh my gosh, my head is killing me, and she can immediately start working on me. So you are going to get to experience that. And you know, as Lily said, we both read the Akashic Records and we both do alchemy, and we both work intimately with the Akashic realm and with the angelic realm. And one of the things that makes us uniquely different is that Lily and I both have access to our 12th chakra information. Our 12th chakra sits way up off of our bodies, but we have access to that information, and that's where we are pulling a lot of what we are going to be talking about tonight. And that 12th chakra information allows us to do healing with our hands, and we don't actually at all have to put our hands on you, but you may catch glimpses of us creating constructs and things like that. And then we also have key codes and healing in our throats, so that when we speak, there are key codes and constructs and things that come out of our mouths. And we also can do healing with our eyes. So it's something that makes us very different out there in the world, and we are just excited to see this unfold.
Yeah, and well, speaking of amazing healers, Bonnie, you are also, and I've in the 3 years that I've known you, you have so much stepped into the healing aspect of who you are, and Bonnie is, yeah, same thing. We sit across the table and I say whatever little thing, and then Bonnie starts seeing things. Tuesday night, she did an amazing healing on me that really opened up so much for me. And we had an extraordinary Tuesday night call, and I think due in part greatly to some of the healing that I received from Bonnie right before the call. So that was really, really cool. And what else do you want to say about you, Bonnie, other than the amazing alchemist that you've become? Your clairaudience, your clairvoyance has absolutely, I think, like quadrupled, quintupled over the last year alone. And if any of you are wondering because we always say that your frequency raises just by you showing up to one of our programs, but if any of you have a doubt about that, let me tell you, Bonnie is a huge witness of that, of what.
Yeah. And we actually have somebody who was talking to me about going back and watching our old videos and listening to our old recordings. And I was like, oh my gosh, remember those things. You can actually see them for yourself. For me, I think I have grown in leaps and bounds. And it really is just about moving those low frequencies out and bringing in the higher frequencies. And when you do that, you start to feel a shift. You start to have a sense of knowing. And it's very cool and very fun. So I'm excited to just get started here and tell them a little bit about the container that we've created and
Absolutely.
pass the circle of light.
Yeah, absolutely. Before our calls, and as Bonnie said earlier, we work very closely with the angelic realm and also with the ascended masters and the Akashic realm. And so we are blessed to be able to know how to build containers of safety and around us. And so you are a community, whether you're listening to us live today or you're listening to a recording later on, you are within a container where we are very protected and loved and held in such a beautiful, loving space of compassion and just absolute gifts of love and joy and bliss for us here. And that is the container that we have created around us in the community, as well as you've each been gifted with a protection circlet. We're going to be talking about a lot of things that may be outside of the realm of the physical. Obviously, Ascension, it does go outside of the realm of the physical. And so we want to make sure that we all stay in a high frequency place. And so we've all have circlets of protection around us, and it's very healing. And as a matter of fact, there's already healing key codes that are being dropped in for all of us right now. Actually, this call, unlike most of our calls, which there's a lot of teaching that gets involved, and we are going to be teaching today, but this call is more focused on healing than teaching. Most of our calls are focused on teaching with a lot of healing. This one is a lot of healing with some teaching. So it's mostly healing, which is very exciting because we definitely all need healing. And the reason we need healing is because we've come to this physical world to really move through the physical density of this plane so that we can expand our consciousness by raising our frequency. We have to be in a physical body in order to raise our frequency. And that's what being here allows us to do. But it also subjects us or makes us vulnerable to foreign energy that we don't need all the time. Sometimes we do need foreign energy for protection. So we're going to be talking about some of those things, and so that you can begin to distinguish and discern for yourself what is truly an indication of something where you are moving through an ascension kind of process, or if it's something that you need to pay a different kind of attention to.
They've started chatting about how they can feel the download, and I was like, oh, it's clarity, love, and joy. And then it was just like chills. So yes, there's so many beautiful frequencies coming in for us. So that's awesome. Okay. Whew. So
a quick overview of the evening. Those of you that participate with us on Tuesday nights, you know that we love having you raise your hand. We're not going to have you raise your hands today, as I was saying a little bit earlier, but we do want you to participate and ask questions. Ascension is a huge topic, and so your questions are going to be very helpful, but what we ask is that you chat them to us, and on the bottom of the screen there is a little button that you can click that says chat, and if you click on that, it'll bring a little window up on the right hand side, and you'll be able to type a question in there. You can type it to us privately, or you can type it to everyone, and whatever way you feel comfortable is fine. Either Bonnie or I will catch it, and then we will do our best to make sure that we handle every single question or every single comment that comes through. So we have an intention for this evening like we usually do, because all our programs carry with them an intention, and we ask for you to also have an intention. That's really more of an invitation. Having an intention helps you to kind of stay focused in the area of where you want to have the answers. So if you're experiencing physical symptoms that you think may be associated with Ascension, maybe you want to focus on that. Or maybe you're experiencing a lot of turmoil in your life emotionally or mentally or in other different aspects of your life. If there's something specific that you're working on and dealing with, by all means, have the intention to have that resolved for yourself in this call. Wow, can you imagine if you create an intention to have an issue or something in your life that's not quite right for you, to absolutely have it be 100% resolved? Bonnie and I can witness that for you and have that happen for you. As long as it's in your best and highest interest and your intention is strong and pure, it will happen for you. And we will do our best to clear all the obstacles and all the lower frequencies and any foreign energies that are getting in the way of you being able to overcome and resolve all those issues for you. So pick one or two things and make that be the intention for your call. And our intention is to explain Ascension in a way that's simple and easy for you, in a way that you'll understand it, in a way that you'll feel it gently for yourself, and for you to also have clarity, and for us to, as a community, raise our frequency and really step into the truth of what Ascension is for us and our journey here on this planet. Because Ascension impacts not just us as human beings, but it impacts every single being on this planet, including the planet, Mother Earth. And we talked about that a little bit in one of our calls recently.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So let's go ahead and cast a circle of light, specifying that only Source Creator God, our healing teams, Lily, yours and mine, the Akashic realm and the angelic realm, be present for this healing and amazing conversation we're going to have, this opportunity for us to bring more clarity, to bring more wisdom and understanding, and to bring a ton more healing into everyone's life that is on the call, everyone who witnesses it remotely, who participates later, whatever the situation is, and know that we are all in a very safe and comfortable space, and that everybody's intention is here to be served.
Yes. And one of our intentions also, which we created, was to bring forth clearing for all your channels of communication, so that you can see clearly, hear clearly, feel clearly, and know clearly what is the information that you need to know that's relevant for you right now at this time and space in your life, moving through what you're moving through right now. And so I'm seeing a lot of frequencies coming through for you of clarity, which is one of the frequencies that started coming into the planet not that long ago. So a lot of clarity frequencies, you can see them with white gold, you can see them with crystalline vibration and frequency. So they're coming through for us right now, moving through the meridians and moving through the lymphatic system, so that you can experience a lightness around you and more connection with your own wisdom and with your own information. So that's very, very strong coming in through for us right now. In fact, throughout this whole call, you're going to be getting a lot of healing, And your essence, who's in charge of things, by the way, your essence knows which healings you need and which ones you don't, and knows the degree, the level of which you need it, and the frequency, because everything is according to frequency. So everything that you experience tonight will be according to the frequency that is relevant for you in this time and space for yourself.
That's a great point to make, Lily, because it's one of the additional bonuses to being on this call with us tonight and going back and listening to this program again, is that each time you listen to it, you get new healings based on your frequency. So you listen to it tonight and you go up some, and then you listen to it tomorrow if you wanted to, and you go up some more, and then you listen to it again and you go up some more. And it is something that continues to help you long after, you know, just this initial listening to. So it's a really beautiful thing how those frequencies work. And just so we're very clear, and then we're going to just jump right into the conversation about Ascension, is that you are receiving healing alchemy all night. We are going to be clearing your divine channels of communication. so that you can connect. Everyone has them. Everyone has all of those channels. They just get really clogged with low frequencies. We're also going to be taking a look at your chakras and doing what we need to do there. We're going to be clearing karma and agreements for each of you as it comes up, and whatever healing you want. So are we set, Lily? Are we ready to just jump right in?
We are set. So now is a good time for you to hold your intention in your heart, and also a good time for you to start sending some questions to us via the chat, or yeah, if you want a clarification on a particular thing. So let's start with what's some of the myths about Ascension. If you go online, and we love talking about getting online and looking stuff up, because you got to be so careful what you're connecting with information. You got to always ask yourself, is this true? Is it not true? Does it resonate? Does it not resonate? Because a lot of times you're accessing information from other people that is not actually truthful. So one of the myths about Ascension is that we're moving through Ascension and that it's going to happen like in the next couple of years, or that it's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years. And all of a sudden there's a bunch of us that are going to be ascended. And so that's one of the myths that I hear about, that a lot of people feel like it's a quick process. It's almost like, putting something in the microwave. But Ascension is actually a process that our souls are moving through, and it's actually going to take place over a period of about 300 years. It has already started, and it actually started about like 2 or 3 years ago, the aspect of what we would consider ascension, which really all ascension is. The word ascension is about rising, and it really is about rising, raising our frequency. And again, it's about clearing out lower frequencies such as hate, resentment, fear. Fear is a really huge one. Judgment is another really huge low frequency that we are ascending from. So as a planet, and again, this applies to all beings that reside the planet, because the planet is also moving. The planet, which is inhabited by Mother Gaia, the sentient being that's responsible for the life force of the planet, she is also moving through ascension. And so it would make sense that if Mother Gaia is moving through ascension, then anything or anyone that lives on this planet would also have to move up in frequency. You can't exist in an unlike frequency, because there has to be a match in frequency for us all to be able to hang out together. And so we're all raising our frequency so that we can continue to hang together. One of the things that there was a saying that I saw a few years ago, actually I saw it like 20 years ago, shift or get off the planet. And that saying really is about, listen, you're either going to shift and raise your frequency, or you're going to have to leave the planet and go to another planet that matches your frequency, because Mother Earth's frequency is really, really rising. So that's just kind of like a little bit of what we're saying. So we're talking about a span of time that really is 300 years versus 3 years, which is what some people think that you could, have ascension in a 3-year period of time.
I even love the people that say, I've ascended already. I'm already there. And there is a belief for some people, and it is totally understandable that these myths come up because somebody says something as a joke, or somebody says something offhanded and somebody else picks it up as truth. It completely makes sense that there are these pieces of information out there, but I have people who ask me on a regular basis, or will say to me, I've already ascended. And I'm like, it's actually a process that we are going through. And it started in 2016, where with the frequencies, these new frequencies were able to come onto the planet. And as Lily was talking about, the Earth is starting to go up in frequency, and so are the rest of us. And so it's that ascending in frequency where the word ascension comes from. And it is a process. So you're going to be doing this for your entire life, and there is no wrong time to start it. I know I recently met a beautiful soul, a beautiful woman who is in her 80s, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get it all done. And I had to remind her that she's going to get it done exactly as her soul has designed it to, that it is totally perfect exactly as she is moving through it. And she's going to get a ton of gifts, a ton of healing. And that those gifts and that healing is actually going to go with her, becomes part of her soul, and she takes it with her into her next lifetime. It's not like, oh, I got to hurry up and get it done, and then I finish and it's over because you start back at zero again. It's not that kind of video game. This is the kind of game that you get to keep it with you forever and ever. Amen. So all the gifts you get tonight, you get to keep them with you into your other lifetimes. It's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. So we would love to hear what are some of the things that how you are experiencing what you believe to be ascension, and or again symptoms, because what are symptoms of ascension? Why do people talk about symptoms of ascension? You would think of ascension as being something really positive. Why would you have symptoms of ascension? And what is that? Where did that come from? Do you know, Bonnie?
So I think the symptoms part comes from the low frequencies that are in our body. And those low frequencies and that foreign energy actually doesn't like the new frequencies that are coming onto the planet. You know, when you bring in some radiance or some clarity, just like there are people who you know in your life who do not want you to know more than they do. You know, the low frequencies in your body do not want you to have clarity. And so they can really act up and really create havoc. And it's those low frequencies. To me, it often shows up as kind of gray matter. That's kind of how I think about it and how I see it in the body. It really depends which thing I'm looking at. But if you think about like a low frequency of pain being like gray matter, that you are actually experiencing that in your body, you're experiencing pain. I don't know about you all, but I had a headache 3 days ago, and when I have a headache, it is really hard for me to function. It is really hard for me to get anything done. And that's all I end up thinking about is that pain. And so it really can stop you and freeze you from wanting to move forward. And for me, that pain was created with a frequency that came in that, you know, some foreign energy in my body was like, oh no, we're going to behave real badly here. And until I went in and I was able to move more of that pain out, and then that headache went away. So I think that's some of where it comes from. I would love to hear from other people. I love that Jessica is popping in lots of conversation there, and I would love to have some other people pop in some symptoms that you may have. You know, I have heard of depression, anxiety, fear, pain, stomach issues. A lot of people have this other one that's really interesting. That's like, I can't be friends with anybody. I need to move away from everyone and like go and be on a mountaintop. Like I don't relate to my friends. I mean, there's all different kinds of issues that happen that we are talking about tonight. So any of those, if you are sitting there going, oh, they probably don't mean what I'm thinking, don't worry about it. We absolutely do mean that, and go ahead and type it into the chat.
So something that's really coming through for me, and I want to address Jessica's question about if frequency exists as a metric. Yes, it does exist as a metric. And we could get into a whole scientific aspect of it, but there's a megahertz aspect about how frequency is measured, just like you would measure the radio waves, right? So yes, it is a metric, and I don't experience it as a metric. I experience frequency as a sensation. And so how you can discern a high frequency from a low frequency, and we talked a little about this on Tuesday night about the duality of the world that we live in, and how we have to call things high and low. And, you know, it's not really that the frequency is high, like really in the sense of that it's up there somewhere, but we have to have words to describe what we're talking about. So from a high frequency is a frequency that really helps you to feel comfort. It has you feel joy. It has you feel happiness. It has you feel bliss. It has you feel contentment. It has you feel devotion and adoration and contemplation. These are the kinds of frequencies that we would consider high frequencies, as opposed to low frequencies, which would vibrate on the lower part of the scale, Jessica, if we were measuring it on the lower part of the scale, where would make you not feel well. So going back to what Bonnie was saying, the reason why some people do experience what would be called symptoms, they're sending information to me right now to say that it's kind of like, there's a saying that's called growing pains. And when we're growing up, our body is growing and our bones are growing. That some children can experience like pain in their bones, and they call that growing pains because the bones are expanding. That's how I heard about it. And it's actually not true. There's really no such thing as growing pains. We could say the same thing about the ascension symptoms. There's really no such thing as ascension symptoms, from the perspective that if we are to embrace how we are raising our frequency and moving into it as a natural phenomenon versus like something that's being forced on us, something that's being like dramatically or in some way being forced on us, then we would experience kind of like a violence toward it. But the low frequencies that Bonnie is talking about definitely do cause a reaction in our body when they are being displaced. If you're bringing in a high frequency and displacing a low frequency, you're going to feel something. Now, we really do have the power, and so we're getting a download right now. Some of you might be experiencing it because it's really, really, really strong. Wow. It's a pitch frequency, which is one of the newer frequencies too. I started experiencing it about 2 years ago. It's a pitch frequency, so some of you may be seeing it. It's a very beautiful pitch, and it's, wow. It's moving in through the crown of our head, and it's actually coming through the 8th chakra and moving through the crown. I always usually do see it through the 8th chakra and coming down through our spine and into the meridian systems. This is to help us understand that we have the power to embrace the light coming in without experiencing any level of suffering or any level of pain. Now, so they want us to like just pause for a moment and you think about that. If there's been a time in your life where you've thought, wow, I really have to work hard to achieve good things in my life. If I'm going to be happy, I have to really work hard towards that. There's some merit in experiencing suffering or some merit in experiencing pain. And what they want us to know is that we don't have to experience pain. Going up in frequency does not have to hurt. This is more of an acculturation and a societal belief system that we basically have bit into and bought. What's that saying? Hook, line, and what's that?
Hook, line, and sinker.
Hook, line, and sinker. We have bought this concept of that in order for us to expand in our awareness, there must be some suffering we have to go through. It's almost like we don't deserve to expand in our awareness if we're not suffering somehow. And a lot of that is through religious programming. And that is one of the things that we are ascending from. We are absolutely ascending through the veil, so to speak, of the religious programming that we've all lived through. Religious programming does say to us, it's things like only the humble will inherit the kingdom, or, so there's this religious programming that says that suffering is good. We have to be meek. Mm-hmm. We have to be small. We have to be tiny. We have to be invisible. And so we're moving through that because the frequencies in this pitch frequency, by the way, it just got completely downloaded. It has been completely downloaded into our DNA system. This is helping us to comprehend that as those high frequencies are coming through for us, it is absolutely perfectly okay for us to embrace them with ease and grace. Wow. Can you imagine like moving through all the growing pains of your life with ease and grace, with a tremendous amount of love in your heart, knowing that we are exactly where we need to be and that there's no need for us to suffer at all. Wow. That's really coming through for us all right now, these peach frequencies.
Absolutely. It is very beautiful. And the two things I want to add to that conversation is that we, one of the links to reading the Akashic Records into past lives in what we are doing here with going through this process is that many of us have had lifetimes where we have sat on a mountaintop and prayed all by ourselves, and we picked up the belief system that says that is how you do it, that you have to be alone in order to be in order to really connect with God and to make some sort of progress in this life. There are also some belief systems that we have picked up from previous lifetimes that says it's painful to be in a body, that it is dangerous if you know too much, that it is, you could die if you went up in frequency, or maybe you exposed yourself as somebody who could see or somebody who could hear. And these kinds of stories and lifetimes that we've had, things that are still in our Akashic records, information that is not always the truth of us, but kind of our perception of a past life, are also at play in what is going on here on the planet. So, if I had a lifetime where I spoke up, and I know I do have a lifetime where I was told not to write down a formula. I was told not to write it down, not to record it anywhere, to just have it memorized. And I wrote it down and I passed it to somebody else. And it's kind of like the Salem witch trials, where we were on trial and we were put to death. And that is a great example of, struggling with writing things down. And when it came time for me to actually push the button and hit send for me to have my book published, I had to work through that process of, it is safe to put my words out into the world, that I'm not going to be put to death. So the same kind of process, plays out with what we're doing now. You get a download of information and your body is just like, this is really scary. And it might show up as fear or pain or unworthiness. That is another huge one that creates a lot of issues for all of us. Like, who am I to think that I should be able to go up in frequency? I'm much more comfortable to stay small, or I'm much more comfortable just, going and hiding in a closet. That feels safer for me. So that's another thing that we are moving out of everybody's systems tonight.
Yeah. And speaking of systems, I'd love to address some of the questions that are popping up. Jill is saying about physical pain. Is it all showing up as an ascension process, like a tooth abscess? And then somebody else is feeling pulled muscles and headache symptoms lately. And then depression, loneliness, headaches, feeling up, feeling bloated, all these things. All physical symptoms, and this is the information that's coming through right now for all of us to understand. Our bodies are amazingly beautiful and extraordinary machines. Divine expressions. Machines that are divine expressions of Source. So let that sink into your heart for a moment. These bodies are not just a body. They really truly are an incredibly high technology design. And our bodies talk to us. Now, we have gone through many lifetimes in different bodies, through many lifetimes having different experiences. We've had lifetimes where we were stabbed in the middle of a battle or a war. We've had a lifetime where we were beheaded because we could see the future. We had lifetimes where we committed suicide. We had lifetimes where we had a loved one commit suicide. We had a lifetime where we were part of a plague and we died in the middle of a plague, suffering. And so all of these memories are recorded in our soul memory bank, and which is also recorded in our DNA. And so these memories then become part of the physical composition of every body that we then incarnate in, because we're bringing all that information with us. Mm-hmm. So as we are ascending, which really all of that means, let's just keep it really simple, is that we are now receiving high level frequencies that source is sending to us cosmically. As these frequencies come into our bodies, they are lifting those lower frequencies through a process called entrainment. Entrainment is a scientific word in physics that means that a high frequency, if it is imposed upon a low frequency enough, it will raise the low frequency up to where the low frequency just, it kind of disappears into the high frequency. That process causes a chemical reaction at the cellular level. When that happens, information gets released. Now, I just have to say, I didn't know this, all right? It's just coming through right now, so they're telling us this. Information gets released at the cellular level. When that information gets released, it triggers something. So let's talk about a tooth abscess. If you're experiencing high frequencies coming into you, and I suspect that you are, Jill, that you're experiencing a raising of your frequency, as that is happening, something is happening molecularly in your teeth that is causing you to receive information that is getting triggered, possibly from a past lifetime that you need to resolve some karma with. It could be a lifetime where you had, to me, teeth sometimes are indications of unresolved karma with family members. And so, and that's just kind of something that I'm feeling with you right now, is that there's there are family member relationships that need karma to be resolved. And it's getting triggered by the high frequencies coming in and in training, triggering information to be released from your cellular system and causing you to experience it like pain. Now, bear with me, because they're talking really fast, and I'm trying to not talk as fast as them. So when that information gets released, our brain interprets it in the way that we've been accustomed to interpret it, which is really based on pain. Something feels uncomfortable, and we start to worry. So then we bring in more low frequency, because we bring in worry. Oh, something's wrong with my tooth. I better get it handled, because otherwise it'll get infected. And so then now we bring in fear, which is another low frequency. That low frequency of fear actually causes the manufacturing of bacteria. Bacteria and viruses are caused by low frequencies like fear. And so when we start to interpret the messages from our body through that filter called, oh, I must be suffering, there's something wrong with me, my body is breaking down, then we begin to integrate lower frequencies where really our body is just trying to say, wait a minute, just listen to me, I got a message for you. And if we just listened to that message and said, oh, wow, I've just got to clear some karma with my family. Let me clear that karma. Let me look at it. Let me clear it. And then the thing with my teeth will resolve. And that really is what's happening with all of those symptoms. It's our body telling us something, saying, wait a minute, you've got some light coming in. Let me show you what you need to see, because you've come here to clear all this karma. Let me show you what you need to see that's hidden in the tissue of that organ. It could be your heart, it could be your liver, it could be your spleen, it could be your stomach, it could be your intestines. You know, one of the ascension symptoms is nausea. Well, nausea is actually a good indication of what Bonnie was talking about earlier, which is when low frequencies, low foreign energy starts to say, oh, wait a minute, I'm getting displaced. Let me act up here and panic. Low frequencies are like live, they're like live energy. And so no low frequency wants to leave your body. Fear loves living in your body. It really does. There's really no place else for fear to live, because fear cannot live in the angelic realm. Fear cannot live in the astral realm where we want to be as we ascend. It exists in the lower realm of the astral, but not in the higher realms, which is where we all want to be. So fear has to show itself up in the physical.
That was perfect.
So that's a little bit about what our bodies are going through. Is they're just trying to teach us something, show us something. So let's learn to listen to what our body is trying to tell us with those quote unquote symptoms.
Mm-hmm. And we all want to remember, as we talked about in the very beginning, that we are actually souls here having an incarnation in a body. We all agreed that we were coming here to be in a body, because the only way that you can go up in frequency is to be in a body. If you are not in a body, you cannot go up in frequency. If you ever hear that, you know, I'm just going to leave the planet and become enlightened, that is another one of those myths. It is not true. You must be in a body. So we are all souls here having an experience. And we often hear people ask about, you know, is my soul over there and my body's having this experience? And they talk about, you know, my body is having a 3D experience and my soul is having a 5D experience and all of that. And I would absolutely say that that is not the case, that we are busy having, we are having an experience right here. Our souls are with us at all times, and we are having an experience here on the planet as a soul, and that is what we are here to do. So I also want to add this extra piece here for us to know that all of the frequencies that are coming onto the planet, we have a ton of new frequencies. Lily and I were starting to list them, and it was like, how many can we come up with? You know, radiance, we've already talked about clarity. There is inspiration and illumination. Lily has talked about comprehension. And every single one of these frequencies that come in are absolutely including integration and grounding frequencies. So as Lily said, there isn't a reason for us to be, you know, flipped out or worried about what is happening to us, that everything is arranged exactly as it's supposed to. It's just, once again, those low frequencies that are a little difficult for us to handle sometimes.
Yeah. And a couple of people are talking about friendships imploding and feeling loneliness. So let's just for a moment think about if your frequency is raising, and really everything in life is based on frequency. So you attract the things in your life based on your frequency. So if you're moving up in frequency at a faster rate than your friends, let's say, or your immediate community is, then obviously you're going to start to change automatically. The friends that are hanging around with you are going to be changing because your frequencies will no longer align. It's, again, we always use the analogy of the radio. You're tuning into a radio frequency, and you can't go to 101.9 and expect to hear the music that's on 102.3. No, if you go to 101.9, you're going to hear the music that comes from 101.9. It's the same thing with our friendships. So it's important for us to have patience with ourselves and be compassionate with ourselves as we're moving through these changes, so that we can actually give our life time to catch up. You might be experiencing loneliness, but it's only temporary. It's temporary while you are moving through your transition, so that you can then begin to gather those around you that are of the same frequency as you. And that can be difficult. Of course it can be difficult, because sometimes, for example, our frequency is moving a lot faster than, for example, family members, which we can't just get rid of family members. And so we have to somehow work with that. And our soul puts us in those situations through agreement. We have agreements and karma and teachings. There's always teachings in those relationships that implode, and in those relationships that we move through. Sometimes those relationships also can cause physical symptoms in our body, because they literally, emotions have molecules. And so as we are having emotions of fear and anxiety and worry about something in our life, it could be a relationship or career, that is going to translate itself into low frequency of fear, etc., which does impact the cells, which eventually causes cellular breakdown. And that's how our bodies can experience the dis-ease or conditions of dis-ease, and to where it actually can manifest itself in full-blown conditions that we do not want. And so it's important for us to learn to hear our bodies, because when our bodies start talking to us, they usually give us something small, like maybe a little tummy ache or maybe a little headache. But if we're not listening, our body's gonna give us something a lot louder until we finally do listen. So they're saying, and they're really inviting us to be very connected with our bodies and to listen. And so, Bonnie, that frequency that you were talking about, one of the ones that you were talking about, the radiance, that's coming through right now. I'm really seeing it. I'm seeing it coming through for everyone right now. Wow. They're asking us to, if you could just be present to your temples. So you might even want to touch your temples just so that you can be present to this radiance frequency coming through. It's very, very beautiful. It's got a lot of shades of purple and lilac and blue and rainbow. It's absolutely really beautiful. And it's coming through for all of us right now. Radiance really helps us to understand as well the messages and what's coming through from our bodies. It's very, very enlightening, so to speak.
And that must go with the information. I have been creating a design for everyone. I love that we have healing teams that just work on it and duplicate it and create it for everybody. Specifically for everyone, it's actually going in to your the divine channel of communication that your soul most wants you to have more access to. So when we say that, we are talking about, you know, the channels: clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance, claircognizance, your earth and cosmic channels. It could be, what am I missing, Lily? I wasn't paying attention.
Clairsentience.
Yeah. So all of those divine channels of communication, we all have those, and they have gotten gunked up. I often see them like clogged up, like you would see in a picture about what happens with the heart, with the vessels around the heart, that it just ends up having a lot of gunk. That's foreign energy, pain, anger, fear, unworthiness. All of that stuff gets clogged in those channels. And so we're putting in a new design for whichever divine channel of communication you most want. Feel free to pop into the chat which one you are looking for. Do you want to have more seeing, more knowing, more hearing, more feeling? You know, are you looking to connect more with your telepathic channels? There's a lot of different channels that you can connect with, but you're definitely getting a healing design for whichever one your soul most wants.
I'm so glad that you're talking about the channels, Bonnie, because I'm literally present, and you know how much I love Kundalini, and I'm present to the Kundalini channels for everyone on this call, whether you're listening to the call live or you're going to be listening to the recording later. I'm very present to the Kundalini channels. Kundalini channels are, the energy of Kundalini is very healing to the body. And so there is a lot of also like incorrect information about Kundalini. So right now, what they're wanting for us to understand is that Kundalini energy really helps us in our healing process and helps us with our energy. And it is a very important energy to work with during this time of raising our frequency and ascending towards enlightenment. And so they're actually activating Kundalini energy for everyone on the call right now. So you might be experiencing a little bit of warmth in your lower back. It feels really, really nice. It's very soothing, and it helps to regulate and heal whatever discomfort you're experiencing in your body, and it even relieves pain. So if you haven't worked with Kundalini before, that's really a great place for you to start, even just to think about it. It's not a complicated thing to do. Just bring your attention to the Kundalini channel, which is in the lower back, and send a lot of love to the Kundalini channel, and just ask your essence, ask your higher self to show you and to activate your Kundalini in your best and highest interest, so that it can soothe and warm you and heal any discomfort that you might be experiencing. That feels really, really nice.
Thanks, Lily. Now my body has started to tremble. If you happen to see it doing a little bit of that, it just sits there and it vibrates back and forth. And I will sit and turn it off, and then my body will turn it back, my soul will turn it back on, because it is so incredibly healing. And that's another myth that people have. I actually was reading about that today, where people think that you get your Kundalini and then it's like it's on, like you always have it, and it's a channel just like all of the others. And so, as Lily said, you can turn it on and turn it off. And if you have ever been in a car accident or perhaps given birth and your body starts to like shiver and kind of shake, that actually is your Kundalini turning on. It's your body's natural response to do healing. So you have already experienced that. You may have experienced it if you've done yoga, if you've done Kundalini yoga, but there's a lot of ways to experience it outside of the yoga realm.
Yeah. So we're getting another huge download. Oh my gosh. The information and the downloads that we are all getting is really unbelievable. If you feel energy or see energy, you're really experiencing something right here. But even if you don't feel it, don't worry, you are getting it in your best and highest interest to the level of your frequency. So do not worry. Every single person on this call is getting tremendous amounts of healing today. You're gonna literally, they're saying you're gonna experience like your body is gonna start feeling what I like to call the no discomfort zone. It's kind of like how sometimes if you're present to your body and you feel like there's a little pain somewhere or there's a little discomfort somewhere. So they're giving us a download to help us experience the zero discomfort zone with our bodies. And they want us to become familiar with that, because they're saying that we can literally invoke that kind of sensation, that feeling of like, wow, my body is completely comfortable right now. I'm not experiencing any pain. I'm not experiencing any discomfort whatsoever. I feel wonderful. I feel peaceful. I feel really like, it's just that feeling of wow, I love this feeling. So I call it the zero discomfort zone. And they're wanting us to experience that. And all of us are going to get an opportunity to do that. Some of you are probably already experiencing it right now. I know that I am absolutely in a zero discomfort place right now. And they want us to understand what that feels like, because that really is the natural state for us. Our bodies are not designed to break down. God did not design our bodies so that we could break down and have dis-ease and have discomfort and have pain and have all kinds of bad stuff happening. So we are actually designers and creators of our bodies ourselves. We didn't do it by ourselves, but we've played a role in designing and creating our bodies, and we did not create bodies that would break down. So let's all really get present to that. Like, our body is a miracle. It truly is. So as we're bringing in more light and we're experiencing all this light coming in for us, let's have it be that it comes through for us with ease, with absolute 100% ease. So we might want to create, and they're suggesting that we create something that would help us verbally. So we could call it an affirmation or a prayer. We could call it a key code, something that would teach us to step into our light and step into all the frequencies that are coming through for us with ease. So it could be something like, I embrace the light with ease. I release all discomfort. And at the same time, we're also releasing karma and agreements. And they're actually showing me these little, they're like little symbols. I'm not sure what they mean. They look kind of like hieroglyphics. Mm-hmm. And
key codes.
So they're coming through for us, and they're kind of like moving in a swirly kind of, I'm not recognizing any of these symbols, but they're really beautiful, and they have kind of magical frequency to them. And they're moving in kind of a swirly way through our energetic field. And that's helping us to really step into this place of ease. And I think that's something that's really important for all of us on this call, is to understand that we don't have to experience the anxiety and the fear and the discomfort that we've been experiencing. And if you turn around and look at it like, what's my body trying to tell me? It was what I was talking about before. What is my body trying to tell me? And now we're doing a clearing. Bonnie, you started off that clearing on the channels. And I know that you said maybe they can sense which channel they want more to focus on, but several people have said, we want them all, let's get them all done. So let's just do that. Let's ask for clearing for all the channels, for everyone on this call. So we ask you, Mother, Father, God, creator of all that is, we ask and we command that everyone that's on this call, this beautiful community of light beings that are here with us, with Bonnie and me, learning and growing and stepping into our light, stepping into who we are, stepping into our truth, we ask that you download for us now all the clarity that we need right now so that we can raise the frequency of every single channel, our clairvoyance, our clairsentience, our clairaudience, our claircognizance. We ask that all these channels be cleared, and all the channels that are not commonly known, our kundalini, our tantra channels, our telepathy, all the superpowers that we have, we ask that we get a boost up in frequency with every single one of them now. Thank you, thank you. Show me. So some of you, if you're seeing energy, you could actually see this too, because there's a lot of energy moving through for all our channels right now. And to some of us, it's gonna feel like a strong boost up, and to some of us, it's gonna be very, very subtle, but you will experience something. And so the energy is moving through, and I'm seeing it literally like it swirls again. It almost feels like a very undulating, very, very swirly kind of sensation moving through the entire electrical system. And as often I see them moving through to the electron level, and that's how I'm experiencing it, really activating the electrons in every single cell, which holds the potentiality of who we are and our truth. And that is where this is all locked, because we've all had these magical powers, these superpowers. We've carried them from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime until in one lifetime, what Bonnie said earlier about it became not safe to be super powerful. It became not safe to be in a body. That's when we started getting our heads cut off and our burned at the stake and all that kind of stuff. So we're clearing all of that, clearing and opening the channels. I'm seeing, wow, there's lilac frequencies coming through for us all. So that feels really beautiful. I would love to hear if someone's experiencing anything clearing in the channels right now. And if you're not experiencing it right now, you will definitely start to notice something over the next 24 hours that where you're more connected with your own knowing, and you're more connected with how you feel and how you relate to people and how you are actually experiencing the life around you. And that is ascension, ladies and gentlemen, that is ascension. Ascension is stepping into our truth. It's embracing the high frequencies that are coming through for us. That's what it is. That is how we are ascending, becoming more and more of an enlightened being, coming closer and closer to source, stepping into our truth, embracing these higher frequencies, and saying hallelujah to being with those high frequencies of love and grace and ease and devotion and bliss and joy. Those are the frequencies that we are ascending into. Wow.
So I am very clear. There's some people we are clearing karma and agreements with, and there's a bunch of foreign energy that is getting reacted with those downloads. And so I just want to let you all know that if you are experiencing, I've been like getting these like little pings. It almost feels like little pinches. And I know they're coming from people on the call, that I am moving those things out, that we actually have some really low frequencies in our body. They are called miasms, and miasms are actually dark. They kind of show up as like dark, shadowy energy, and they don't have a soul. They're just kind of like stuff that we created out of fear. And so we're moving a ton of that for everybody on the call. We kind of carry that stuff around like we own it, but we are moving more of that stuff out and making more room for a little more light, because that's really what this process is you move out those low frequencies and then you make room for the higher frequencies to come in. So yeah, so go ahead, Lily. I really love to move into that place where people understand that they can do some of this alchemy for themselves. I know we have several people on the call that are studying alchemy, and they know how to do some of it for themselves, but we also have a number of people who probably would just like to know how they can help themselves a little bit more in the process and not have to constantly try to find somebody.
Mm-hmm. I want to address what Tracy is posting about the discomfort that you are feeling with people coming around and you not knowing how to disengage. So I'm seeing something related to your third chakra, and I'm interpreting it almost like an energy leak, Tracy. So I'm going to do like a little design for you for your third chakra. And it's really, really important for you to understand that there's no limitation to the energy that you have. We kind of tend to think that our energy is limited. So if someone takes our energy or is draining our energy, that we're going to run out of energy. And that's why psychologically we start to experience tiredness or fatigue, because we think others are sucking our energy, but actually that's an illusion. A person cannot take our energy. It's important for you to understand that for all of us. And this is really great. And I'm so glad that you've brought it up, because it really does lead us into what Bonnie is saying about how we all can truly do healing on ourselves. So when we are experiencing a discomfort like such as that feels like, oh, my energy is being drained by someone else, or when I come into contact with someone, all of a sudden my stomach starts to hurt, or I experience anxiety when I'm around a certain person. This is all really our personalities not understanding that we don't have to give our power away. Our essence really is wanting us to connect with the very powerful beings that we are. Our energy does not run out. It just doesn't. And our bodies have the unlimited capacity of healing themselves. And we, through the connection with our higher self, we have the ability to heal anything in our body. So again, based on the conversation that I was having earlier, our body is trying to tell us something, and your body is trying to tell you something, Tracy. And so how I'm seeing it is literally like there's a disconnect in your power channels to your heart center, where you're not understanding that really you have an unlimited capacity to love and be loved, to heal and be healed, to teach and be taught, to love and be loved. They want to say that again, to love and be loved, to teach and be taught, to heal and be healed. And so as you are developing the confidence and the ability for yourself to raise your own frequency, and this is what the key is, and this is what alchemy truly is. Alchemy is a process. It's actually a chemical process alchemy is a word that came from the precursor of chemistry. Alchemy is a process by which we transform a lower frequency into a higher frequency. So in the example that you're giving, Tracy, which I think a lot of people experience this kind of thing, and we are experiencing this because we're always surrounding ourselves with people with different frequencies. So we have to trust that we can provide for them the healing that they need, because if they're in our space, that means that we've attracted them through an agreement, through our light. It's somehow aligned with our frequency. So if we clear the karma and the agreements, and that is done through simple intention, we can clear our karma and our agreements with people through intention by simply saying, oh, look at that person is causing a reaction in me. There must be something that I need to know about myself, or there must be something that I need to clear with that person. Let me clear that now. And we ask our essence for help with that. And our essence is actually doing that. And then the physical expression of that discomfort, which we can notice it as drained energy, as depression, as anxiety, however it is that we're feeling it, we can then ask our body, tell me what I need to know. And then we can ask our essence to actually download for us. And that is where the key codes, the alchemical key codes come through. And key codes are really the energetic form of a chemical element. So we create key codes through our ability to create and work with energy. And our essence knows how to do that, and will know how to do it based on your own frequency. So just ask your essence, give me the key codes that I need to be able to deal with this physical discomfort that is being caused by this person as I now agree to cancel all my karma and agreements with them. Let me move in love. Let me move in grace. Let me download now the key codes that I need to bring this to resolution. I can clear that through time and space and dimensions known and unknown. So some of you might want to take a note about that because the words are really important. Let me clear this. Give me the key codes so that I can clear this discomfort as I agree to clear the karma and agreements with this person, allowing my body to alchemize these low frequencies by bringing in love and joy and bliss. And I bring in compassion and forgiveness for them and for myself. And I step into comprehension and understanding so that I may move with grace from this relationship into a healing place for myself and for them. And that is alchemy. That is alchemy. It's about the thoughts that we're using, the words that we're saying. All of this, all the words that we use and the thoughts that we have are carry with them an energetic frequency. And those frequencies are either going to heal or they're not going to heal. They're going to cause harm. So we want to use them so that they cause a healing versus causing harm. Just like when we're eating a meal. If we're eating a meal and we're thinking negative thoughts, we're going to end up with a stomach ache because our digestive system is going to be downloaded with low frequency thoughts and vibrations. But if we're thinking love and appreciation and gratitude as we're having that meal, we are not downloading key codes of love and grace. And that is going to heal our belly as it is digesting the meal that we just had. That is alchemy. It really is that simple.
It absolutely is that simple. And it is also really simple for you to trust that you can just ask for the information. So I explain to people all the time that if you bump into somebody in the grocery store, you know, ask to clear that karma and those agreements that you may have. Nothing happens randomly. If you are aggravated or irritated by somebody anywhere, and those relationships, those family relationships are definitely the reason why we are here in family relationships, is because those are the people that we have the most karma with. We purposely set it up to come into being in relationship with them, and we want to clear the karma. And it is as simple as just asking, Source, Creator, God, please clear the karma and agreements between me and my spouse, between me and my child, between me and my best friend, between anyone you want. You can really just ask for that. If you have an angel on the angelic realm that you like to call on, you can do that as well. It does not have to be complicated. I often see people like they need to create swords and all sorts of gear and call on several different beings. It can be as simple as angelic realm, please give me a healing. Please help me to see this person with more love. Please help me to see this person with more understanding and more compassion. I particularly love when I ask to see the other person's perspective. Please help me see the other person's perspective, because when I get that information that comes in, I suddenly am like, oh, well, that changes everything. Now I understand where they are coming from. So we want to always clear the karma and agreements with people. You can wake up every morning and just say, can I please clear karma with all my family? Can I please clear karma with all my coworkers? It does not have to be fancy, and it doesn't have to be a certain way. Also, always, always, always ask for a healing. Your stomach is bothering you, just ask, Source, Creator, God, could you please give me a healing on my stomach? Source, Creator, God, could you please take some of this headache away? Let's make it really simple and easy for everyone, and not go into that complicated, it has to be a certain way. We love grace and ease, and we're running some more grace and ease through everybody's systems, through their chakra systems, and through their divine channels of communication, all through their central nervous system. I love seeing it go up the central nervous system. It's like grace and ease, grace and ease, grace and ease, because it doesn't have to be difficult at all.
So another strong frequency is coming through right now, and this has to do with karma. Part of the process of ascension is clearing karma, and it is and there's a lot of myths about karma too. And we're not going to get into a major conversation, Bonnie. That could be a topic perhaps for another call, is to just focus on karma, what it is and how we do with it. But what they're wanting us to understand right now is that we are and this information that we're receiving right now, and it's actually coming through on rainbow frequency, which is another new frequency that I started seeing about maybe 5 years ago. It's coming through on rainbow frequency, which is a very loving, very gentle, sweet frequency. And it's coming in for all of us into our heart. And it's helping us to accelerate. It's kind of like an accelerated program for canceling karma. And this is something that has become available since we really truly did start this ascension process. We've had to come through lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and it's taken sometimes years and years and years to clear karma. We are not now able to clear karma in a much more rapid way because of all these fabulous cosmic support that we're receiving. And right now we are all getting an additional boost to our ability to clear karma through intention. And so if you feel like there's some heavy karma in your life, you really can utilize this rainbow frequency that's being downloaded right now for us into our heart to help you clear it, and work with your essence to allow you to accelerate the process of clearing your karma. And as you do that, literally the people in your life will change. Your body will even change. Literally clearing karma changes the physical composition of your body. It really, truly does. And so they're really inviting us to be more intentional about understanding where we've created karma and how we've created it, so that we can literally, through our intention, clear it and bring the ease into it. As Bonnie was saying, we love grace and ease. We love grace and ease. Clearing karma does not have to be painful. It does not have to be difficult. We literally can bring in forgiveness and compassion and allow that karma to resolve itself through our intention.
So I'm sorry, I've been sitting here, people have been privately messaging me and like, I've got this going on, I've got that going on. And so I was doing some healing. If you have an issue going on, it must be the reason why we need to say that anything at all, if your right knee is hurting or your big toe, is cramping up, please let us know that, because those little tiny things that you think are nothing can be really big things, and they show up for you because they are showing up for other people as well. So it is absolutely very important for you to pop that into the chat. If you don't want to make it as a general comment, you can make it, as Lily said, a very private comment. We do want to open it up. If you have any questions, you all are doing a great job with putting in conversation and asking questions. We want to get as much of your concerns addressed here tonight. So, all right, what else we got, Lily?
Yeah, I would love to know if you have something that's still lingering for you that we haven't covered in this call. As we said, Ascension is a really huge topic. So one thing that I'm really present to right now from the guidance that we're receiving from the angelic realm is that there's so much love here for all of us. And they want us to know that we're doing a really good job, and that they want all of us to be in a place of honoring who we are and really being proud of ourselves and what we've come through and what we've accomplished. Because every person that is on this call, again, whether you're listening to us live or you're going to be listening to the recording later, every single person in this community tonight has gone through quite a ride. Mm-hmm. Moving through lifetime of carrying so much, and you've been preparing. We've been preparing ourselves for this moment. We are here on this planet right now with incredible intention and purpose. And we are here because of all the support and assistance that we are getting cosmically. We have been given the blessing and the gift of being able to incarnate right now at this time in the history of this planet right now, because we have earned the gift of being able to move with velocity through the evolution of our spiritual development right now, from the standpoint of the physical ability to raise our frequency in these bodies. And we are receiving so much support for all of us. We are moving more from an awareness and expanded consciousness in this lifetime, in this moment, than we ever have before. Ever, ever, ever. They want us to understand this. If you are here right now, especially if you are moving through the kind of awareness that those of you that are on this call are moving through, you really are here through incredible intention and purpose. It is no accident that you've been granted the ability and the gift to have a body in this moment. It's huge. It's a huge, huge gift. So look at it all from that perspective. Look at it all from the perspective of the blessing and the gift that we've all been given, this opportunity to expand in our awareness at an accelerated place right now.
So, Lily, I have a couple of people that have physical issues and pain that they're talking about, and I do want to explain that process. That when you have a lifetime, somebody used an example of knowing that they had a lifetime where they had their hand cut off as part of a punishment for performing healing works in that lifetime. Those situations, what happens in our Akashic records is that we have a perception of what happened in that lifetime, that we were punished for doing healing work and we had our hand cut off, and all of that information gets put back in our Akashic records. And when we move into non-physical, it stays in our records in that form. But the truth of the situation for that example, and for all the ones that are similar to it, regardless of what kind of pain we're talking about, is that you were in service to Source when you had your hand cut off. And the important part is that you were in service to Source, and it is divinely perfect the way it happened. Your soul had the agreement that you were, for example, going to lose your hand in that lifetime. Your soul wanted that experience. And so what we do is we actually go back to the Akashic records, to that place where you have been holding onto the information that you were punished, that there was something you did wrong, that if you had made a different decision, you would have had a different outcome. And we actually pull that information out of the Akashic records. We blow that up because that is not the truth of what happened. That is just your perception of what happened. And so instead, what we do is we pull that information out and put the truth back into your records. So you have the truth that is there, that you were in service, that it is part of an agreement that you had, that everything happened divinely perfect, exactly as it was supposed to. And it was an agreement that your soul had. And so it is sort of like rewriting a program. I use the example of if you had Windows 95 on your computer. I don't know why I always get Windows 95. That's so ancient. But if we wanted to update the program, we would go and put in the new Windows 10 software in there, rewrite that program, and then you can't go back and play out that old information anymore because it does not exist. And so there are a bunch of people who have that. I mean, there's tons of us all over the planet that have those kinds of issues. We're running those old programs. And so we are going through everybody's Akashic records and pulling out those pieces of information, blowing them up, and then putting the truth of who they are back in the record. So just know that we are clearing as much of that as we can as well.
Yeah, and something else I just noticed, Bonnie, is that as we're doing that in the records, I'm seeing programs being deleted that say that my body has to break down with time.
Perfect.
So a lot of us have a program that says that my body disintegrates, or my body breaks down, or my body loses its power or vitality with age. So we're deleting that program right now from everyone's energetic field that's moving through. That program is literally being lifted off the genetic field for you. Wow, that's a really, really major one. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're experiencing like this, whatever notion that your body has to break down with time, that is being deleted. That program is being deleted. So if you ever have a thought about that, you need to say, wait a minute, I don't have that program anymore. My program is about vitality and longevity. So we're downloading now programs for longevity and vitality in the place of programs that tell us that our bodies break down with time and age. That's really beautiful. There's a lot of yellow light moving through, for that gold yellow light moving through as we receive this amazing new program for us.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think this one is related to that there are people who think that energy healing takes a long time, that healing takes a long time, and it is the same kind of program that is running that, you know, well, my doctor said it was going to take this period of time, and so we are deleting those programs as well that say that healing takes a long time, that there is some sort of process that you have to go through, because alchemy is instantaneous, energy healing is instantaneous, and if we keep moving enough of the low frequencies out, you actually begin to see that it literally happens like that.
Very beautiful. And then, so there's a lot here about thought processes for everyone and belief systems. So they're sending us a lot of crystalline kind of, they're activating crystals in our meridians and in our lymphatic system and in our central nervous system, so that we can really raise the consciousness around our thought patterns. I'm not sure why central nervous system, lymphatic system, meridian system, and crystals being activated in these three systems are going to help us to have more consciousness around our thought patterns, our belief patterns, so that we can raise the frequency of our thoughts, our words, and the way that we process our belief pattern, our belief systems. So that feels really, really nice. Wow. That's a huge activation right there of crystals in very, very important key places. Very, very healing.
Yeah, you know what, Lily, that one looks like it is going up the central nervous system, has to do with different pains that people are having and the thoughts around it. That same thing about how long it takes to heal and to resolve something.
Very nice.
Yeah, whew, it's like it's heating up in here. Oh, well, we have about 5 minutes or so left, and I do want to take a moment to offer up, please, if you want to continue to put information in what you are looking to have a healing on, but I do want to let you guys know about an opportunity that happens every Tuesday night through September 25th, and that is our Tuesday night call. And we have talked about it a couple of times tonight. That Tuesday night call is an opportunity for you to, Lily, do you have that one? Is an opportunity for you to get some wisdom and some healing on a free call that we do. And then also, I'm like, I've got things happening on my screen here, Lily. You want to go ahead and pick up that Tuesday night?
Okay, so Tuesday night we're going to be doing, we're going to be talking about foreign energy and about how there's foreign energy that's welcome and unwelcome, and so we're going to be talking about that. This is our Raise Your Frequency series, and this will be our 5th one, I believe, and it's just been absolutely off the Richter scale, and the information that's been coming through, and people have been sending us so many wonderful, wonderful comments about what they're experiencing. So it's an opportunity for free for you to raise your frequency again, just by showing up. It's a beautiful opportunity for you to put in practice some of the things that we're teaching you here tonight. It's very, very important for you to stay in some kind of practice that allows you to be present to your body, to be present to the miracle of being in a body right now, and how safe it is to be in a body, and how it is okay and absolutely necessary for you to step into your body and raise your frequency and be that powerful being that you came here to expand into, and stepping into your truth.
Thank you. That was awesome. It is absolutely amazing. I am glad to see everybody who's popping in and saying things are starting to feel better. That is also a very cool process to see. And then another item I want to let you know about, I would just feel really badly if I did not get to share with you all about our chakra activation series. This is our essential guide and chakra activation series, and it is the most amazing program that Lily and I have ever produced. And it actually, I'm going to say, it actually surprised us when we got it finished, and we were amazed at how awesome the information is, the healing that we have going on during this activation series. It is a lot like this program here, where you are going to learn about your chakras. You are going to get more information, very specific information about your chakras, but you are also having healings done. We are replacing chakras and balancing them and moving out foreign energy specifically around the chakras. And Lily, you had an amazing experience with that.
I did. I was, one of the things that I volunteered to do was to edit the transcriptions of the calls, the downloads, and the healings that we received, the information that we received. And as I was editing the transcripts, I experienced all kinds of transformational healing in my body. My body completely shifted. I had so many breakthroughs just from editing the transcripts. And that's when we learned that, Bonnie and I didn't know this, but we learned through that process that all our calls are dynamic. And that's because there's no time scale in the program that we're doing, because it's working with the angelic realm and with the Akashic realm, where there is no time and space. And so as you listen to our recordings, your frequency goes up, and we talked about it earlier in the call. And when the second time you listen to it, because you're at a higher frequency, now the information as it comes through raises you even more. And it just starts to accumulate how your frequency increases. And so you receive more expanded benefits every time you hear our program. So we learned that our programs are dynamic, and that you actually will receive new healings and new information and have more and more access. And that is really the most wonderful thing. When I was doing those transcriptions, editing, I was texting Bonnie every 30 minutes. I'm crying. I'm so moved. This is incredible. I don't even remember saying this. I don't remember you saying this, but oh my gosh, this healing is amazing. I got so much healing from it. So I really recommend for it. And also, our chakra system is really, really important. Our chakra system regulates so much of the functions, not just physiological, but emotional and mental. And it's a powerful way to raise our frequency, is to clean out those chakras and constantly be working with them. So definitely an incredible program for you to get involved with.
Awesome. Awesome. So I have just enough time to remind you all to join our Facebook group. We do have an incredible community of people. A lot of them are here tonight, and we love to answer questions, to have discussions on Facebook. It is another place where you can connect with us. And as a bonus, if you join the 8th Chakra community, you get to see all of Lily's incredible pictures. What day are you on, Lily?
320.
320th day of welcoming the sunrise, and the pictures are the most amazing and most interesting. I live 5 minutes from the beach. I don't get there for the sunrise, but I do get to enjoy Lily's pictures. So please find us on Facebook and make a connection with us.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We love you all so much. Thank you for joining us and for being a part of this community. We are all brothers and sisters together on our journey towards enlightenment, on our journey towards oneness, on our journey to breaking down the illusion of separation, because it is an illusion. There is no separation between us. We are all one. And it's so beautiful to be in that love, to be in that healing space with all of you. And we look forward to one day being able to meet every single one of you in person. But for now, it's so wonderful to have you be part of our online community and presence. And we love you so much. Have an amazing, amazing week, everyone.
Thank you.